push them all away. Little children in the street, dying every day. We all look for something we can never find, and we all need peace of mind. Lonely wretch on the street, looking for love. $20 beneath the sheets. Is this all she thinks of? We all look for something.
Three, two, one, go.
Timmy, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, pretty good here, Sean. We've both had a pretty tough couple of weeks here. I know that you lost Brenda on your end, and on my end there we lost um, Bobby Daniel lost his daughter, 29 years old Tricia, and who's a cousin of mine. And condolences to your family.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Timmy, and it's really a terrible tragedy when you lose somebody. But 29 is just such a young age and so unexpected, And
You don't get yeah.
Brenda was unexpected to us as well, and I do appreciate the kind words and everybody who came out to pay the respects and all of the flowers and the cards and the food. I'll tell you, in a time of sadness, there's a lot of people that show you how much they love you, and my family really appreciated it, and I'm sure the Daniel family had the same kind of love sent to them. So my best wishes to your family. We've been off the air for 3 weeks, and I was so excited because we updated all of our stuff, and for some reason, I just don't know what the hell to tell you.
Yeah.
The ghost of podcast, why our podcast was downloading, getting ready to come on, Rumble shuts off and says can't put on the podcast, so I have no idea why. So we're on YouTube right now. Hope everybody can jump over to YouTube and we'll figure out the Rumble thing since we only tried to do it at one time. So, because Rumble will be one of the platforms we use, and YouTube. Tim, I want to just jump right over because we talked about this probably 3 weeks ago, maybe 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
We had the sheriff on. We were talking about raise the age where young kids are not held accountable when they're 17 and 18 years old, and then bail reform. You arrest them in 5 minutes. They're out the door. And here we go again, right here in the hometown of Cohoes, New York.
Right,
right. The cops do a fantastic job. They catch all these kids going through people's cars, stealing their stuff. I tell people all the time, lock your freaking doors.
Yep, car stolen on the island, yep.
Yep, lock your doors. Most people ain't busting in your windows. They're opening the door you left unlocked, and they're stealing your stuff, and now they're stealing your car. But this is an interesting case because this 18-year-old kid here has a loaded gun on him.
Wow.
Right? A loaded gun.
Yep.
And I don't know. 18 years old. Has a loaded gun. Walking the streets of Cohoes. What happens, Tim?
You tell me.
He goes to court and he's out in 15 minutes. He's 18 years old, so nothing's going to happen.
Did he have a pistol license?
He had a gun that he should not have had.
Right.
It was loaded. And let me tell you what happens when 18 and 19-year-old kids have guns. They shoot and kill 18 and 19-year-old kids.
Yeah.
The fact that this kid has a gun on him, if anything happened, if there was any kind of fight, any kind of trouble, would he have just taken the gun out and shot somebody? I don't know.
They're not held accountable anymore, Sean. You know that. You could shoot somebody now, go before a court, and bail reform, you're let right back out on the street. Meanwhile, somebody could be laying there dead.
That's the God's honest truth, and nobody seems to care. Tim, I'm just taking a quick look because somebody did send a message to me on.
Let's see what happened on that.
It's not working. I have no idea. I just want to look, but I think this is that's last week's podcast. and during the middle of a live, they
Yeah.
can't stop and try to rebroadcast it. So
Yeah.
like everything else, we're getting big enough now that we're going to be looking to have somebody come in and do the production for us, because it takes 4 days to do production. It's a lot of work. We're getting big enough, over 50,000 people watching the show. But here's the problem: nobody knows where to watch it right now. So most of these people are going to watch this show that's live. This will be put up on on our YouTube, put up on our Rumble, and people will watch it taped, because most people don't even know where to go.
Yeah, and we even have Facebook knock this off too, because they don't want third party, and we do use third party software. We're using a program called the EV Mux.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
back to this kid. I mean, take a look at him. He looks like Babyface, right?
Yep.
And I do want to applaud the cops, because the cops did a hell of a job. The cops are out there. They're out there looking for kids that are doing this kind of stuff. They catch this kid, and I believe that somebody's life was probably saved, because this young kid probably would have been pressured to go ahead and shoot somebody. And since raised the age, he would have only went to family court. And by the time he's 21, they have to let you out of family court. So he would have probably been in trouble for a year and a half, if they even did anything. So congratulations to the Cohoes cops. Now, I got to tell you something. When I put Judge Tom Marcel in as our city judge, and Tom's a smart
Yeah.
guy. He's now, I don't know if he's a state or a county judge, but he's moved up pretty rapidly. He took the position that he wasn't just going to fall to his knees and follow this raise the age and this bail reform. He was still putting kids in jail and saying, you had a gun, you're dangerous, I'll justify it, or I'll fight the good cause. I'll
Yep.
sue to keep you in jail, because, you're going to kill somebody. And most of these judges don't do that. They don't put in the work. I don't know who was the judge he went in front of, but what is this judge doing to try to say, you know what, I'm not going to let you out. Let them come after me. Let them say that I did something wrong, because I'm not going to let you come out and kill somebody in the city that I'm supposed to be the judge and oversee the safety of people when you come before me. If you commit this kind of crime, I'm going to put you in jail. Nobody has the kahunas to do that. Therefore, guess what happens?
He's back out on the street, right?
He's back out on the street. The city of Cohoes. Now, I heard he had an ankle bracelet on.
Really?
Yeah, that should do you fine.
So where'd he get the gun? No idea. They didn't even, no idea where he came up with a gun.
Well, I think he's an Albany kid coming up to a small city where
Yeah.
crime is blossoming like
Yep.
the Mayflowers.
Yeah, yeah.
And luckily, the cops were out that night, caught him, and sadly, the judge lets him out. And I'm not just going to blame the judge, but I'm telling you, some of them don't have any desire to change what's going on. Because if I was the judge, I'd put him in jail. And you know what? Let
Yeah.
them come after me. And I'd say, geez, I'm sorry, but I thought he was going to hurt somebody. So I'd put him in jail. You can't change anything unless somebody's got the wherewithal to take the first step.
Right.
So the-
You've got these cops out there on the beat, and they're up against this all the time. You don't know who's armed and who's not armed, and it endangers everybody, including the police are right there in the scene.
Yeah, so I mean, something's got to be done. I hope the Sheriff Apple, we'll have him back on, because I told him I'd like to follow up in 6 months. Same thing with John McDonald, have him back on. I want to see what they're trying to do to fix the problem that the state legislature created.
Yeah, they did.
This is not an accident. This is intentional. And then you have the head of the assembly, that hasty guy who is probably one of the biggest racist people I've ever heard talk. He doesn't care about people's lives. All he cares about New York City and money, and how he can continue to get money. That's what these assembly people do. They're not out there busting their ass. They're not worth $150,000 a year or whatever they're making.
Right.
And you know what, Timmy? I used to say when I was in the legislature, passing a law should be hard. It should be difficult. It should be a battle, because every law you pass, you're taking away somebody's liberties, right? And so it shouldn't just be something where you raise your hand in a room with 17 people and you change the whole entire law that affects your life and your freedoms.
Well, they got a ton of legislators that come up out of New York City, don't they?
Well, they're all over the state of New York.
Yeah,
New
yeah.
York City's
Well,
got the most, so they control.
They do have the most, and they control the assembly. And look at the mess New York City's in.
Well,
Okay,
look at the mess we're all in.
we're all in.
and it's
Yes.
and it's all because of the state legislature, assembly, senate. All of
Hmm.
these people are far left. They're
Yeah.
woke, they're wacky, and they're responsible. And then they'll come and stand in front of you and tell you how sorry they are that your family member got hurt by some kid who should have been in jail,
Yeah.
and they'll never once take responsibility. And I'm
Yeah.
going to tell you something. I know this for a fact. They just get bored, so they start looking to pass laws because they really don't have a freaking job, Tim. They
Hmm.
get paid. They get paid 100, whatever it is, 130,000, 150,000.
Yeah.
They
Right.
go to all these parties, all these functions. They never really have a job. They have no boss. They can go to work. They don't have to go to work. It is like hitting a freaking lottery.
Yeah. Pretty
But guess
bad
what?
down
Every
there.
once
Yeah.
in a while, they feel like they have to be empowered to like intrude into your life because that's what's happening. They intrude into your life by passing laws that best affect them and give them money and help them get campaign contributions and keep them in power.
And
And
they,
it's not going to change.
and yeah, right. And it takes the criminals and give them priority over innocent people. You can't. And the part of the problem I have is I can't even defend myself against these people. I'm the one that gets arrested. For
Well,
defending myself.
they'd kick your ass anyways.
Yeah.
There ain't much you could do. You okay there? You got a frog in your throat? What's the matter?
Yeah, I
with you?
did. I had a
3 weeks.
road rage incident today. Thought
You
a guy
did?
was going to jump out of his car at a red light and come back after me. Yeah, because he cut me off.
See,
You
what I
know.
would do is I'd put you in the back seat of my car, and then if somebody came after me, I'd take you out like a bat and I'd swing you by the feet.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, you keep dreaming too. Okay, you'd find out you'd have an adversary that's pretty rough and tough. Okay.
Yeah. I heard that many
You're,
times.
yeah, right. You keep talking the
To me,
talk.
the baseball bat. That's what you're going to
That's
be.
it.
I'm putting you in the back seat of my
I
car.
use a 34 wood on you.
Hey, Tim, I want to jump into another story that I think is really important, and I want to kind of methodically go through this because
Yeah.
it's really bothering me, and it
Mm-hmm.
has to do with the school district. And I think people have
Yeah.
seen it on the news and on Facebook over the last day here.
It's a
But-
chatter going around the city about it. Yeah.
Right. But, well, I was blessed to have 4 people, 5 people actually, that actually work in that school district that I had a chance to talk to that have firsthand knowledge of what's going on. So I'm just going to share that based on the people that have contacted me and had dialogue. But there's a gentleman, his name is Dan Martinelli. And I got to tell you something. He was the principal at the middle school when my kids were in middle school. And middle school is a tough time, right?
Oh, yeah.
Transition to life, puberty. You start liking girls and not caring about baseball no more, and you got all these other problems, and you
And
start
there's a
feeling
fight every week. Yeah.
right. You start feeling your oats, and you're fighting, and you're getting in trouble. And I went to Dan Martinelli and said, Dan, I'm really worried about my kids, and he said, Sean, listen, I love these kids. I've given my heart and soul to this school. I'm going to make sure they're okay. And don't you worry, your kids are going to get out of here. They're going to excel, and you'll be very happy with the results. And I wasn't very happy when it started, but I got to tell you, the man is a stand-up guy. He really does care about those kids. He sets a glowing example of what you're supposed to do in good times and in bad. He's a gentleman. He's a disciplinary. He knows how to do it, where even when he's disciplining you, somehow you feel like he's helping you, and people respect him. And so Danny Martinelli is the assistant superintendent now for the schools. He got
Yeah.
he got a promotion, and from what I understand, and this is how this all plays out.
Yeah.
The school district buys a
Copy machine.
copy
Sort of.
machine, but it was
Something like that. Yeah.
It was a poster printer.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a big, big machine. And what was happening is they delivered that machine down to,
Page.
what is that? The business office of the school
Yeah.
district, Page
yeah.
Avenue.
Yeah. The business hall. Yeah.
So they bring it down to Page Avenue, and Dan Martinelli works with Jackie DeCiro for the pre-K kids. And so he felt it was best to put that printer down at Van Skyke. So like every other facility, he puts in a work order, sends it to a head of the facilities. And let me put Danny up here. So there's Danny Martinelli right now. You can just look at him and tell he's a wonderful man. But so he sends the work order, and the work order goes down to this gentleman right here. He's the director of facilities, right?
Yep.
Jimmy Stapleton. He looks like he's an old cowboy, or he should be riding on a Bronco or something.
Well, he's missing the cowboy hat, but let's go. Yeah.
That's the only thing he's missing, right?
Yeah.
So this guy Jimmy sends a message back to Dan Martinelli or his secretary. I'm not sure which one read the message. That basically said, "No, I'm not moving it. Call IT." And that makes no sense, right? Because facilities in any facility are the ones that handle moving property, moving machines,
That's their
moving
job.
classrooms.
Yeah.
Right, they're the head of the facility, and they handle all those big jobs. And then once you move those big, all the computers or whatever, facility moves them to IT comes in and hooks them all up, right?
Yeah.
That's just the basic principle of facilities versus IT. So
Teachers
this guy,
teach, facilities take care of the needs of the buildings
yes, right,
and the property. Yeah.
right. So anyway, this guy basically says, "No, I'm not doing it." So Danny Martinelli, sends him a message or goes down and sees him and says, "Hey, I'd like to talk to you," and I think it was through a message. In the meantime, this cowboy here is all mad. He's all upset, and one of the secretaries that works for Dan gets a message from another secretary, says, "Oh boy, here comes Jim," and he's pissed off. So basically, he goes up to Martinelli's office and he starts screaming and yelling and scaring the hell out of the secretary, a young girl that works in that office. Now, this guy, from what I'm told, had trouble with a teacher beforehand. He's a little hot-headed, and he's had some issues with getting mad at people in the past.
Yeah.
So he starts yelling at this girl. This girl's frightened now, right? And she basically says, "Get out of my office." She goes to his boss, tells his boss that she was scared, felt threatened. And in the meantime, Dan finds out about it, and he goes down to see this guy. Now, Dan's the boss. This guy's an employee.
Right. Yeah.
So he's got to go down there and say, "Hey, listen, what the hell's going on?" And I know Dan. He's not going to be like, "Hey, asshole." He ain't going to be like me. He's going to try to be kind and gentle to this guy unless he's pushed against the wall, which ends up happening, right? So this guy basically tells Dan to go screw himself. And somewhere in the midst of this conversation, this tough guy here comes over to Dan and takes his glasses off his face. And then punches him in the face.
Wow.
And then throws him down into a closet. So I think Dan gets mad, probably says, "Hey, F you," and whatever. You just punched your boss in the face. I think I'd be saying, "You're fired, get out of here, call the cops."
Yeah.
So my understanding is Dan calls the cops. Now, what I read in one article, and I couldn't find it in all of them, the cops did do a report and arrested this guy. Now, here comes the funny part, right? If you read the newspaper, you see that this guy, Jim Stapleton, is going to resign, and the board is going to accept his resignation. And I'm trying to comprehend this, right? You have a teacher get punched by kids, you don't do nothing.
Yeah.
You have the assistant superintendent getting punched by employees,
Yep.
and the way you handle it is to say, "Oh, we're going to let him resign."
He doesn't get arrested, doesn't get charged for assault.
So I heard he got arrested, but if he got arrested, why didn't the school district do what they should have done, is followed the process and fired the guy? You don't get to just punch a teacher or punch a superintendent in the puss and walk out, and now you're okay, nothing's wrong, nothing's going to happen, you're not held responsible.
Exactly.
The school should have pressed charges. Dan should have pressed charges. He should have been arrested. He should have been fired on the spot. But not in the whole school district. You know why? Because somewhere along the line, from my information, Peggy O'Shea, who is the superintendent, is quickly told, "You stay out of this. We're going to let the school lawyer handle it." That's coming from the board. Now, Timmy, I don't understand this whole school board bullshit, because the school board is the policymakers.
Yes.
They hire the superintendent
And
to
they're
run
elected.
the schools.
Right. They're elected
No,
by the
well,
people.
the people elect the school board,
Yes.
and then they hire under contract. They
Yes.
hire a superintendent. She's supposed to run all of the schools.
That's right. She does. And she's
Somehow
paid
the
about
school
160 grand a year to do it.
Well, somehow under the premise of this school board,
Yeah.
she's taken out of the equation, so she has no say. They have a lawyer who's handling it. Now the lawyer decides he doesn't want to talk to Dan Martinelli. He doesn't want to talk to his secretary. Both people who are witnesses to this guy's anger issues and this guy's abuse and this guy threatening a young lady. And I'm trying to figure out why. So as I'm trying to dig into the story, I'm saying, why is this happening? Why would this happen? Why would this guy be able to just punch a superintendent? The school board gets involved. Nobody's saying a word, and they're all quiet.
Yeah.
Now, I
Sounds like a
emailed.
cover up going on.
So I'm told that this guy was hired by Jeremy McDonald.
Whoa.
Now, I don't know that to be fact. So I reached out to Jeremy via text message. Got no response. So I'm
Yeah.
only going to tell you what I'm told. I don't know what's factual. We'll dig into this and find out. But so Jeremy McDonald sat on the board, right? He had a lot of power. He created jobs for people that he wanted jobs for. I'm told he got this guy a job. So this guy is somehow friends with
With Jeremy. Yeah.
Now, two members of the school board have husbands that work for Jeremy McDonald's business. So now you got this guy's his friend, two school board. Now some of those school board members I know, and I'm very fond of them and don't believe for 1 second. But when you start adding all these pieces together, what do you come up with? You come up with this guy who is probably one of the best people in that school district, who's done more for kids
He
than
gets
anybody
beat up
on that.
on. Yep.
That's more than anybody that
Yep.
I know of. Maybe many equal, but not
Yep.
anybody more than this guy has. He gets punched up, banged up by this guy. The school board is saying nothing. Nobody will take statements from Dan or his secretary. And this guy is not asked to be arrested by the school, press charges by the school. The school board is not calling for his immediate firing, but they let him resign.
And why?
What I'd like to
Why
know
didn't they
is,
fire him?
well, you've got to tell me that. Is it the Jeremy McDonald connection? I don't know that. Jeremy, if you listen, I'd love you to call in or come on the show because I'd really like to know. I'd love to know why the school board hasn't said anything. I don't care this. I've been in labor for a long time. I've been involved in politics for a long time. I don't care if they go, let the lawyers handle it. I'd be saying to the lawyer, suspend this guy right now under whatever provision we can suspend him. And if it has to be with pay, then suspend him with pay. If he resigns, let him resign. But we're still going to file charges and terminate him so that wherever he goes, people will know that not only does he punch the assistant superintendent in the puss, he threatens a young lady.
He's violent.
Tough guy that he is.
If he's violent, okay, you wouldn't want to alongside this guy. At any time, this guy can come up and
This is coming right from the people who
yep.
he said we both went off the air. Let me just see something.
Well, Aaron Val said he's been charged with assault, and I'm seeing things coming up on YouTube here.
Yeah, they're saying that we're off the air. I don't know.
I just read it. My end says it's live and it's still running. I'll find out and share it.
I don't
You
either.
got it says Felt said we just went off of the air.
Yeah, but is it on YouTube or is it on?
Don't we off now on YouTube? Somebody something like that. Let me know if he was the best boss ever, Diane Paul. You're good now, is according to Harold Felt.
Well, just
We're,
because he's the best boss ever to Diane doesn't
yeah,
mean he's the best boss to
yeah,
everybody else. He punched somebody in the
yeah,
face. Dan
yeah,
Martinelli is not lying that he got
no,
punched. The girl from the office isn't lying that he came up and threatened him.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So just because he's a good boss to one person doesn't mean he's a good boss to every person. And
mm-hmm,
as I said in the beginning of this is what I've been told. And I
right,
said it loud and clear. I am
yeah,
not giving you facts from the school district. I'm giving you what I've been told by Martinelli, other people in the school, other people that had dealings with him,
yeah.
and
And you
and
spoke directly with
no,
Martinelli.
no, I didn't. I spoke directly with four other people. I haven't
Oh,
spoke
okay,
to. I didn't speak to the girl. I didn't speak to Dan.
okay,
I spoke to people
okay,
who are in that school district in pretty high positions that
okay,
told me what they believe was happening.
yeah, okay.
And so again, that's why I said I'd love to talk to. I'd love to talk to Jeremy McDonald.
Something happened, but Aaron Vo says that there was a uh, let's see what exactly what she says. She said
In the paper,
he's
he
been
was arrested
charged
for
with assault.
assault.
Aaron Val says he was charged with assault and has no contact. I just read it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, and that's what I said in one of the articles, and that's why when Diane says don't believe everything you read, he was
yeah,
arrested. I read
yeah,
that in the paper tonight.
yes, yeah,
So if he was arrested, chances are
yeah,
he either admitted to it
mm-hmm,
or there's proof of it. Um, but you can't say stop believing everything that you hear or you read at the same time, then complain about DPW and all the stuff going on down there, right?
mm-hmm,
People report the facts as they see them. We report to you what we're being told. And
yeah,
I've done as much homework as I could and found
yeah,
out that, yes, the one girl has said unequivocally that
mm-hmm,
he scared her, threatened her. She went to his
yeah,
boss. Dan Martinelli said
yeah,
unequivocally he punched me in the face.
yeah.
The
You
guy's
know, and
resigned. The
right,
guy's
and we
quitting his job.
right, we only know what we know, okay?
Right.
And we get a lot of feedback, and what we try to do is sort on out what makes the most sense, okay?
Correct. And if you're arrested for it, then it
Yeah,
makes sense that
something
something
happened,
right. Just because you file a report against somebody
you
doesn't
know.
mean
Yeah, yeah,
she's Diane. I'm not going to argue with you whether there's witnesses or not. The guy got arrested. I love your husband Al, and there's not always witnesses to what he's going through. But I believe when you tell me that Steve Hennessy is a punk and does bad things to your husband, I know Dan Martinelli. I don't know this guy. I know what I'm being told by
yeah,
people who are close to it. I know what I'm being told by people in the law enforcement and school district.
yeah,
So I'm only sharing what I'm being told. At
mm-hmm,
the end of the day, the guy's resigning. So obviously he's not resigning because he didn't do anything wrong. Dan Martinelli's quitting because he does not like the way the school district handled this situation. And I don't blame him. He's given up a ton of money and a lot of longevity because the school district and the handling of this case clearly demonstrates that somebody is helping this guy out or not wanting to cause this guy any harm,
mm-hmm,
and that Dan Martinelli's excuse. And yeah, there's more to the story, Sean. I don't know if there is or not. You guys who work at the school district might have worked for this guy and you like him. What I hate and I'm sick of hearing people do is complain and bitch about people they don't like. And then when we talk about people they do like, they want to come in and defend it. The bottom line is there's always two sides of the story. I don't know both sides. I know he's been arrested. I'm telling you the story. If the guy is, if the information that's being told to us isn't correct, well, then I'll apologize to him right here on the air. But he's resigning, and the school board hasn't done anything, and he's been arrested. So something must have happened.
something. Well, it's on
Do you not
TV too.
agree?
It's on TV 13 as well.
Yeah, right.
So they're on a story too. So something happened. We don't know. And look, I wasn't there. You weren't there. But if it
I don't
made
care,
TV,
Diane.
if
Let
it
me just
made
say
TV
something, Diane.
13,
I don't care, Diane, that you work there because I don't think you work where they're working, and I
mm,
don't think you were up there when it happened, and I don't believe for one second that two people of high integrity are
mm,
lying, and I don't think the guy would resign. And I
mm,
don't think the school would accept his resignation or make
yep,
him resign. And I don't think the cops would have arrested him. So the bottom line is
yeah,
there's some truth to it. How
yeah,
much, I don't know. I
yeah.
really don't. And I'm
Well, we're going to
not
find out more.
right. And
And
so we'll
and
find
when
out
we
more.
find out more, we'll talk about it in the next podcast. Maybe we'll have more information back then.
Yeah. Again, I'd like to have somebody from the school board come
But
on. I'd
I
like
don't
to.
think it's something that should be so secretive.
No, and
If,
that's the whole point of me bringing it
that's
to your
what
attention.
right.
I don't want to hear all of the people say, I like him, he was a good guy.
Yeah.
I like a lot of people too. I see them punch people in the mug. Doesn't mean I don't like the guy. Doesn't mean everything that I know is factual. I can only tell you my
What we know.
side from the information
Yeah.
provided from us. Just like when I talk about DPW and the
Yeah.
information is provided to me
Yeah.
by
Yeah.
people that work there.
I can
So
tell you, another guy in DPW gave in his 2 week notice today.
and why
Okay,
do you think that is?
and this is information that comes my way from reliable sources. But can I verify it? Absolutely not. But that's what I'm being told. Okay, and I'm being told that more will follow. So we're putting it out on the podcast now, just letting people know the information that is flowing our way. Okay.
Correct.
Okay, we can't vet 100% of the things 100% of the time. We're an information highway. You draw your own conclusions.
No, what's important for people to understand
Yes.
is that I'm not saying that I was there, but it's in the paper. And you
Yeah.
know me in the newspaper, okay? I hate them. I don't believe half the shit they say. But
Yeah.
there's some truth to it. Even when they wrote stories about me, they did say I was 5'8".
Well, look
So
at
they-
what Sean Van Sleet just said, that the Board of Education meeting tonight lasted 6 minutes and had to be adjourned due to public outcry.
Well, that's the disgrace of the school board. If
Yeah,
there's
so
public that are showing up, sit there, listen, and let the people share their concerns.
Yeah.
I understand
yeah,
better than most.
Mm-hmm.
There's always two sides,
yeah,
right?
yep,
But truthfully, there are times when one side is telling you the God's honest truth and the other guy's not telling you the truth.
Yeah.
Or guess what? Good
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
have bad days, Timmy.
oh yeah, that's
And
true.
good people do stupid shit. I know. I've done stupid shit many times. My mother used to say, if you want to live to regret the best speech you ever made in your life, say it when you're pissed off. Okay?
Yeah.
And so I don't know this guy. I don't know Jim.
Yeah.
He could be the nicest guy in the world.
Well, I'm going to take Sean Van Sleet at his word, okay? 6 minute Board of Education meeting, and it gets adjourned due to public outcry. The people want to know what's going on.
Exactly.
And we're here to put it on out and let people know that we know about this thing. We're trying to find out as much as we know. Look, don't for 1 microsecond trust the Times Union, okay, for information, okay? I wouldn't put a microsecond of faith in those people. None of them.
Listen, all I know is that
Yeah,
something happened.
yeah,
And for a guy
yeah,
of the caliber and class
yep,
of Dan Martinelli, if he told me something, I would hold it as gospel. I
yeah,
really would.
yeah,
And so do I believe the guy punched him? Yes.
yeah,
Do I believe he threatened the girl? I don't believe she's lying for a second.
mm-hmm.
Do I believe that it was this guy's the most vicious dog in the world? No, I don't. But you know what? If he made that choice and he made that mistake,
Yeah.
whether you like him or you don't like him,
yeah.
he's got to be held accountable, right?
Yeah, and look at Diane. She weighed in and she said the board would not allow any comments tonight.
Shame on the board. I just tried to message her. I don't know. Maybe
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
phone off again.
Yeah, that's what she said. And so look at Diane. Yeah, we appreciate that, and it's good that you're chiming in here. But that's information we didn't have. Okay.
Well, the
Okay.
board meeting was tonight. I wasn't there.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
weren't there.
yeah. It's 6 minutes,
Here's
no
what
public comment,
But-
and then they freaked on out and said the meeting's adjourned.
But what I did tell you is that the board has taken this approach where they don't want to say nothing.
Right, right.
And you know what? The last thing I want to hear is, oh, it's a employee
Personnel
matter.
problem. Yeah,
I don't give
personnel
a shit.
matter.
They work around our kids.
Yeah,
Okay. And now we have one of the best people that has worked in our school district ever leaving. Not because he has to, not because they said you got to go, because he said the way the school board is handling this
yes,
before, let me rewind that. The way the school board is handling this, I can't be part of. And that's the man with class. And he's
Yeah,
giving
yeah.
up, what, $125,000, $130,000 a year job, health care,
yeah.
benefits,
Yeah.
seniority.
yeah.
Not because he has to, because
Yeah.
he's a man of principle.
He can get a job somewhere else, doing the same thing or whatever.
Well,
but,
no,
but,
you know, Timmy, them
but-
jobs
but-
don't
I know,
just pop up.
I know they don't. It's just he feels unsafe where he is, and
No, I don't think
you
he
got to
feels
get rid of this
unsafe.
guy.
I think what he felt is that the school,
It's,
who has
right.
kids beating up each other, teachers getting hit, kids
Yeah.
being disrespectful, a school system that's falling apart.
Yeah.
He's still in there trying to fight the good fight to help the kids because he cares about
right,
the kids.
and the
then
kids in the middle, right,
then
and the kids
school
in the middle school are beating up on police and adults.
Yeah, but then they turn their back on the guy
Right.
who is the
Yeah,
the
exactly.
school board, the principals, whoever. I don't know
Because
who it is,
right,
but
they have no guts to do anything
they
about
turn
it.
their back
the
on
school
their own.
board.
They eat their own.
You know what? Next election, vote them out. That's all I can tell you. You know, they're not going to do this right. Vote them out.
Maybe the school board should all say
They
if
ought
we're
to
not
resign.
gonna- Yes, maybe they should resign.
Quit.
Maybe Peggy O'Shea should resign.
Yeah.
If they're going to allow one of their own to get punched in the face by an employee, and nobody holds that employee accountable,
Yeah.
and if it wasn't for Dan Martinelli filing the police report,
Yeah.
nothing would have happened.
Here's what I'm going to do,
And if you
Sean.
have kids in the school, you should
Yeah.
be worried. And
I'm
Diane,
gonna-
I love you, and you know what's going on in that school
Yeah,
district.
and here's what I'm going to do, Sean. I will foil that request tomorrow morning with the police department for that incident. So anybody that knows me, send me a private message. Let me know the date and time that this actually happened, as best you know, and
the
I will
paper.
get I'll get the FOIL report.
It's in the paper.
I don't read the paper.
Well, I read it online. I'll read it for
Okay.
you. I don't read
Okay.
the Times Union.
Yeah,
I told you, they only got me my height right, 5'8".
yeah.
So, hey, anyway, great spirited debate for the first
Yes.
time in 3 weeks. But
Yeah.
it needs to be done. It needs to be happening.
Yeah.
I want the truth to come out. I tell you, I'm just saying, I don't care if you like it or not. I'm siding with Martinelli, and I'm siding with his secretary because I know them both, and I love them both, and I think they're both have class, and they're both fully respected. And I'm not saying this guy doesn't have anything. He may have had a bad freaking day and made a bad choice. But why does it take so long for this to come out? Why is the board being so quiet about it? Why ain't they interviewing the two people that it actually happened to? I know how to handle discipline. I've been involved in thousands of them.
And Sean, this happened in April, right?
Yeah.
Why did it take till May 29?
Well, because
What?
it's being under
Covered up.
Yeah.
Right. It's being covered up. That
like
should
that.
piss everybody else off.
Yeah, I'd love to have a board member come on, but they won't.
Right.
I'd love to have Jeremy McDonald come on. I know he's got the courage to come on. He's not afraid to share his thoughts. And I'll text him and ask him to come on
Yeah.
because I just want to know what happened. And the public
Yeah.
wants to know what happened.
Yeah.
And the public loves Dan Martinelli because
Yeah.
he's helped so many of their kids.
Yeah.
You don't have a public outcry for a guy they don't like.
Yeah.
You don't have a public outcry for somebody who hasn't touched your life somehow,
Yeah.
especially when he's dealing with your children.
Yeah.
And so I hope the truth comes out, but I believe Dan Martinelli, this guy, whether he had a bad day or whether he's a bad guy, I don't know. But I wish speedy recovery to Dan. I
Yep.
hope the young lady who felt threatened can overcome this, get back to work. And you know what? If this guy's a good guy, he should apologize. Maybe they can all work it out and, focus on teaching the kids. So,
Okay,
hey, Timmy, I want to talk about something else, but I want to jump over here for 1 second and say, hey, listen, I don't know what the hell happened with Rumble, but you can still subscribe on YouTube. Jump over, hit subscribe. For Rumble, if you just take your camera, take a shot of the QR code, it'll take you right to our site. You can join after the show. I got to figure out why the hell this is happening. Told you we're still novice. It takes about 5 years to become real great podcasters. We're only 1 year in, but we got
on.
40,000 more viewers
Yeah.
than most. So,
Yeah. So
hey Timmy, so let me jump over to this next topic here. I'm going to have to add you to the screen, so hang tight. All right. So we were talking about the this city just drives me nuts. We were talking about the solar.
yep, something that just happened
Well, we were talking about it last month,
Tuesday. Yeah.
and you came back and reported that at the meeting with the city
The audit. Right.
auditor,
The audit. Yeah.
he said that the city could be on the hook for upwards of $600,000 that they had no clue because we have an incompetent community leadership here. But they could be on the hook for $600,000, right?
Yeah, and what he basically said is, look, when you buy something, they don't tell you, well, you might need this to go with it, and to make it work, you need that, and this might affect this. And the bottom line is, you guys are looking at about another $600,000 for your solar project, okay? Because they didn't tell you, hey, it's sort of like taking a medicine. You take this pill for this, but it causes that. So it's one of those things. So we're looking at 600,000. Guess just what happened yesterday.
Before you tell the story,
Yep.
it's important to remember they just announced in April that they're breaking ground and kicking off the solar project. So from April, middle of April, to yesterday, or the day before, tell us what happened.
Well, look I've had the drone over there twice, okay? And it doesn't look like a whole lot is going on. It looks like some prep stuff, but they're nowhere. So bottom line is this, okay? The electrical company that's got to do work, they go on up there with machinery. Now, if you go up there, you'll see some backhoes and stuff like that. Well, they've got to do a lot of clearing. It's probably to get the anchor system in. I'm not sure, but they bid it on this project, right? Now they come back to the Common Council and say, look, due to unforeseen circumstances, we need another $50,000.
So there's the start.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
there's the start of this.
So why did they need it? Okay, because they can't get dump trucks up there big enough. They got to load up little trucks that bring the dirt and grass and everything out, dump it on the ground, then scoop it all up and put it in bigger trucks to haul it away. And it's going to cost like $50,000 to do that. And my question is this, Sean. When these people put in a bid for this job, how can you turn around and say this was unforeseen when you're looking at the job and bidding on it? How's that happen? When you were mayor, did somebody come on up and say, I need another $50,000 because we didn't expect this? And then, is that what happens?
So let me start when I was in the county legislature.
Tell me.
When I was in the county legislature, we would spend hundreds of millions of dollars on projects.
Yeah.
And almost every single project, we would get a work order a change order. Yeah. And it's never a change order saying we need less money. It's a change order saying, oh, we didn't recognize this. We didn't see this. This happened. We need more money.
Yeah.
Danny McCoy, Sean Morse, and Timmy Nichols put in a resolution that said, when you bid on this job and you come back for more money, you have to prove that what you need the money for was actually unforeseen. For example, you're digging up something and you hit a pipe that you didn't know was under the ground.
Right.
Now you're going to have to take 6 weeks to dig that pipe out, put a new pipe in, do this, do that, retrofit, blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
Right? So we understood that because that does happen, right?
Yes. I agree.
You go down to a building built in the 60s and you pull up the rug and you go, oh shit, it's all asbestos tile.
Mm-hmm.
All right, put a work unit because now that wasn't foreseen. But if you said, oh, we needed more money for the windows because there's 39 and we only thought there was 30, too bad. Now
Yeah.
you're doing it. Figure out how to save your own money.
Yeah.
And when I was the mayor, it was the same way. Don't come back to me with a work order saying that you need more money. You did the job. You did the bid. Show me. I'm a
Yeah.
reasonable guy, right?
Yeah.
If you show me something that I wouldn't have noticed,
Yeah.
or if I sent code down, they said, well, I wouldn't have seen that. I'm all for it. Put it in there. Let's fix it. But this this whole entire solar crap and this whole entire work order changes and the unforeseen money. By the time this first in the history
Yeah.
of the country solar panels are in our drinking water,
Yeah.
it will be about $20 million for
Yeah,
Christ's
yeah,
sake.
it's already $650,000 beyond what they anticipated. That's out of the taxpayer money. So look at how long is it going to take for us to get that money back? Okay,
Well,
so but look at how that's what I threw at you. Okay, how do you not know that you got to move this dirt?
yeah, that to me is a joke because you can look at when you go up there and you're
You go up there and
walking
you
around
look
with
at
your
it.
engineers, you
Yeah,
know, right?
yeah. How do you not know that?
And
You measure how wide it is and say, well, we can't get this big truck in there. We got to get a little truck in there. How do you not know that?
listen,
And then these guys turn around and give them the 50 grand.
yeah, it's silly. It's just
Yeah,
well, you got no
yeah,
accountability. The city
yeah,
council's just become a rubber stamp like always.
yeah.
The,
That's
the
what
mayor
happened.
doesn't know where he is half the time.
Yeah,
He's almost never look at. He's not even involved in this stuff. First of
yeah,
all, the solar panels has nothing. He had nothing to do with that. He'll
yeah,
cut the ribbon because he's the only thing that he did
yeah,
good
yeah,
in that whole entire picture is they stood by the water tower that still said "Cahoe's proud."
yeah,
Outside of that,
yeah.
we don't even know.
Look at
I want to give him
right.
the benefit of doubt. I
Yeah,
hope the project works. I hope it becomes the first of its kind in the nation and it's successful. I
mm-hmm,
hope it doesn't become a bust because here's the problem with being the first of its kind in the nation in a small city. You
mm-hmm.
don't have a lot of capital.
Yeah, yeah,
Just like when we bought all the lights and the poles. Great
yeah,
idea until they start breaking. We're a
mm-hmm,
small city. We don't have a
yeah,
lot of capital.
yeah,
And you start robbing Peter to pay Paul. You
yeah.
start taking the necessities to pay for your luxuries.
Yeah, well,
And
they're
that
not
becomes
going right.
problematic. That's
Well,
when the
the
city,
solar, right? Well,
yeah,
the
that's when the
solar's
city
not
goes
going to
broke.
work. It's not. They're not going to work at night. They're not going to work with ice and snow on them. Who knows how they're going to hold up to weather damage and stuff like that, high winds or all that stuff. And look, I do hope it works on out, but I just don't see the return on the money right now. And I told people there, 40% of the output of that thing, they have no idea what they're going to do with it. And you know what really pisses me off right now? Just thinking that here it was Memorial Day weekend, 3 days, and that flag in City Hall that was lighted up by you was never lowered to half staff
Yeah, it made me,
for our faller.
it just made me sick.
And
You
and
know
so
what?
that's why we're paying him 21 grand, okay? Because
Yeah.
he can't think ahead. All
I
right?
also want to call out the school district, and I don't want to talk
Yeah.
about the Dan Martinelli thing again because you know how I feel, and
Yep.
we said our piece based on the information we had.
Yeah.
And Diane, I love you and I respect you, and I hope he was the greatest boss, and I hope the guy had a bad day,
Yeah.
and it all gets worked out. But at the end of the day, the school district has one of the highest flagpoles in the city,
Yeah.
and it has a stamp size flag on it. It's
Yeah.
about this big. It's a total
Uh,
disgrace.
yeah.
That pole needs to fit the flag for the size of the pole.
Mm-hmm.
You're dishonoring the country by putting up this little flag that you can't even see on a pole that's 60 foot high. So
Yeah.
if anybody from the school district's listening, if the board's listening, maybe you can't solve the problem with Dan Martinelli, but you think you can get a freaking flag that will fit the pole so that doesn't look like a disgrace and an
Mm-hmm.
embarrassment.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
all I got to say about that today.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. Okay. What do we got next? Because I got a few things.
Go ahead,
Just
shoot away,
to
baby.
touch on. So look at back on May 1st, we put together the ethics board, and today's the end of May, and they've got two complaints, and I have not heard a peep from these guys at all. Nothing.
Surprise,
So,
surprise.
don't get their act together soon. I'm just going to bypass them and I'm going to podcast it out myself. Okay, what's going on?
Timmy, we're having so many problems with this podcast. I have no idea.
Yeah, it's in and out, in and out. Okay, it's like the internet connection is getting lost.
And I don't
Okay,
know why. I just put in the whole new program. One of the problems is we didn't have a chance to practice. We didn't
yeah.
have a chance to.
Well,
You
we'll
and
just
I.
put the recording out because it's recording, and we'll
Well, what
let
I'm saying is,
everybody
you and I
know.
didn't have a chance to,
Yeah.
do a
Yeah,
test run because
yeah,
the passing of Brenda,
yeah,
and I just didn't have this heart and soul to come on, and I just
yeah.
kind of lost my way for a little while. But
Yes,
I promise everybody, we spent a lot of money to upgrade, and upgrade we will. We just need to get on and
and we're still having trouble.
yeah,
And I,
we're still
and
having
I
some
think
trouble.
most of it is the internet, which we have no control over.
I
Okay,
have no idea.
I mean you're connected to the internet, and so am I, and we are doing this over the internet. So if we're in and on out, that's we have no control over the internet.
Well, here's what I do know. We did freeze a few times.
Yeah,
Sorry about that. We'll get this fixed. We'll get it better. We're going to do better. In the meantime, Timmy, we'd
yep,
file an ethic complaint, but they don't pay attention.
no,
I'll let you. I'll let you agree with this. I agree with that. I'm the one who puts it up and lowers it. Diane, I know you do. I know you're a true patriot. I know you love your
yep,
country. I know you love your flag. And I love you. And whether we agree or disagree doesn't matter. I love you to death. Um, but damn, they should fix that stupid
yeah,
flag
flag,
so it's not an embarrassment. And they should address this Dan Martinelli thing and not lose him because that's an
yeah,
embarrassment.
yeah,
Um, you know.
yeah,
And at the end of the day, Tim, again, I'm sorry for the loss of your family. My love and respect goes out to
yep,
Bobby and the Danielle family.
yep.
Again, thank you all for the love and respect that you gave my family with the passing of Brenda. And for the next few days, me and Timmy will be working on this podcast and trying to figure out why none of it's working. And next week
Some of it,
will be bigger. Things will be
yeah.
okay.
2 points I
And
want to make out though.
yeah, go
Two
ahead.
quick points. One is going to be look at Dollar Tree down there in Cohoes. Their computers crashed and they're closed as a result of their computer system crashing. Now, what does that say? If they just operating like Gus's hot dogs, they'd be able to sell stuff.
I don't
Okay.
know. I'm not so sure. Listen, a lot of them are going out of business,
Yeah,
so they could be telling you that their computer crashed and they're just not saying they're closing.
yeah, and something's going
Everything
on.
else is closing in Cohoes. What the
You
hell?
know, so that, and then of course, as I told you, that it seems like the J Street, Hamilton Street, there sinkhole is on the way back. Okay, it's
Well, they didn't fix it.
re-emergency.
They
Yeah,
filled it with
because
dirt.
I think it's a broken sewer line there,
Well,
and
it's
it's
certainly
sucking the dirt in.
it's certainly something that keeps sucking the dirt in.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And
get up there and fix it, and that would be
and that's
the
it.
best
Anything
idea.
else?
No, I have nothing
Okay.
else. Again, hey, listen, I'm sorry we're a little scatterbrained. I'll tell you that I really didn't do anything for the show until today. Grieving is a really
It's a tough,
terrible
tough.
process, and as a
Yep,
dad, I need to take care of my kids, and so I
yep.
just wanted to get up because I feel alive again when I'm saying hi to you people and getting my blood pressure up and
Yeah,
talking about things that the people at Cahoe should know
yeah.
about. And I promise you, next week will be better, and from here on in will be great. Until
Okie
then,
doke.
until then, I love you all, and I'll see you later.